Come on, Wes, you gotta do this.
What's going on, people? It's your boy Wes back at you with another video. I know you guys saw my last video where I talk about my thoughts on the Smash documentary called The Metagame. Watching that made me get the nostalgic itch. Something I noticed about the documentary is that it talked about EVO 2013 and how it went down. Let's do some quick research on the internet to find the truth on what went down during that whole event of Nintendo vs. Melee prequel. Let's take a look at what Smash Wiki says about it before I present my evidence. Okay, let's see what they say on Smash Wiki. Although some of this site they state facts, I'm not a fan of this site, mainly because they allow anyone to update and edit history on anyone. So someone's enemy can come on this site and say false information about them. And the crazy thing about it, say for example, your enemy goes on the website, make up false information, then all of a sudden you don't, and the thing is you don't even keep track, or rather you don't go on a website that much. And then by the time you realize that they made this false information about you, they already painted this false picture about who you are as a person. So I don't know, this site is kind of wonky, but I guess this is the only site I've found that has somewhat close evidence on what went down on EVO 2013. Okay, Evolution 2013, or simply EVO 2013, was the 12th edition of the Evolution Championship Series, a fighting game tournament held annually in Las Vegas, Nevada, which took place on July 12th to 14th, 2013, at the Paris Las Vegas Hotel and Casino. It was the largest Smash tournament of 2013 and broke the record for the largest Smash tournament at the time, with 709 entrants for Super Smash Bros. Melee. EVO 2013 also had twice the entrants as the previous largest Melee tournament, Pound 4. This is facts. Originally, Melee was not to be a featured game at EVO. However, when looking for an 8th game to add to the roster, the EVO staff held a donation drive for breast cancer research. Within the game community that donated the most money to the drive would have their game featured as an official game at EVO. Although there was stiff competition from the Skullgirls community, a massive push from the Melee It On Me podcast staff resulted in Smash community raising nearly $95,000 by the final day of the donation drive. This is also facts. The tournament is now known as a landmark event and major turning point in Melee history. It marked the beginning of an explosive rise in the game's popularity and ushered in an era that featured significantly increased turnout and more new tournaments hosted than ever before. EVO marked the beginning of the Platinum era, in which Melee transitioned from largely grassroots scene to a more professional esport. This is facts. A particular event that sparked outrage among the entire gaming community was when Nintendo attempted to block streaming from Melee at EVO a few days before the tournament was set to begin. However, because of the extreme community backlash, Nintendo retracted the ban hours later. It was later revealed that Nintendo had also attempted to shut down the Melee portion of the tournament altogether. This is definitely not 100% true. Nintendo didn't overthrow, or rather change their decision because the community was outraged on what they was trying to do to EVO. Nintendo didn't attempt to block Melee, they blocked Melee. And then they reversed their decision. So without further ado, let me present my evidence on who helped save Melee at EVO. I know a lot of you people who are looking at this video probably will disagree with who I'm going to say that helped save Smash at EVO in 2013. The person that helped Smash in 2013 was the one and only Triforce. I know. Some of you are going to say, why, Wes, why? The reason why is I like to state facts. Since a lot of the history of Smash has been screwed up, people are wondering, how did Triforce even help the community get Nintendo to allow EVO to stream and host Smash at their event? So let's first talk about his history with Nintendo so you can understand how all of this went down and how it's definitely true why he was able to advise Nintendo to change their decision to not allow EVO to stream Smash at their event. Triforce's relationship with Nintendo has been in good standing for years. He has been part of a bunch of their console launches and has been the first in line for countless amounts of their events. He even has a good relationship with the former CEO of Nintendo named Reggie Fils-Aimé. They've been in communication for years, giving each other shoutouts, advice, and Triforce has even inducted Reggie into the Video Game Hall of Fame.
Hello, International Video Game Hall of Fame. Reggie here. Thank you for honoring me with the prestigious Walter Day Lifetime Achievement Award. To be honored in this way and to be associated with Walter himself and with past recipients of this award, Steve Wozniak, David Crane, David Bishop, to name just a few, it really, truly is humbling. I also want to thank the person who made some introductory comments on my behalf earlier this evening, Isaiah Triforce Johnson. Triforce and I met back in 2004 at E3, and then I saw him again later on that year when I presented him the very first Nintendo DS sold in the Americas. And it was my privilege to see Triforce at other E3s, as well as whenever Nintendo introduced a new system or a critical new game, because Triforce would always be first in line, and I would be the one presenting him his new purchase. Triforce, thank you for being such a force in the industry and such a force in putting my name forward for this prestigious award. Thank you so much.
Nintendo also over the years have contacted Triforce for advice on community-related matters. Nintendo has even made Triforce an ambassador, along with Triforce being involved in their 3DS eShop campaigns. Kathy Cackley, one of Nintendo's former marketing executives, was responsible for this.
Nintendo is a well-oiled machine. They've been launching products for decades. But this was the first time that they were getting behind an actual digital service. Mm-hmm. eShop was their first step into e-commerce. And so it was a product of educating the rest of the company about it, getting everyone on board to support it in terms of marketing and merchandising, and then executing it. And we had a very, very small budget. And so we launched it. It was stressful, it was fun, and people connected, and it was great. But after a couple of weeks, we realized we need more people to connect. We had products like Nintendo Video coming and Miiverse, and so we needed more connections. And so I thought to myself, how am I going to get people aware of the eShop that weren't already on Nintendo's own channels, like their own social media and whatnot? Mm-hmm. So I thought, I need an ambassador. And this is where content creators and whatnot come into play. But I need an ambassador, somebody who's going to be my megaphone, talk about eShop in places where we're not there. And so I started to look up online and I found a content creator named Triforce Johnson. And so I reached out to him on social media and said, hey, I'm Kathy. I manage the Nintendo eShop. Part of my job as that manager was to merchandise each of those shelves that people saw every week. Mm-hmm. You open the eShop, sometimes it said new releases, top sellers, and then like the last 10 would have these funny names, picks by, the editors or what have you. Sometimes
that was you.
That was me. I made up all of those every week for years. And sometimes I would be funny, and like during Valentine's Day, I'd have like gaming for two or single player only, or something to be on theme and funny. I had a shelf dedicated to my own picks. So I leveraged that with Triforce Johnson. I reached out to him and said, "Hey, I want to make a shelf for your picks, and I'm going to put your me on there. I'm going to label it Triforce Johnson's Top 25." Mm-hmm. I want you to tell me what those top 25 are, and you'll be featured for an entire week in the Nintendo shop. Everyone will open it up and see your face. He was floored. What? I can't believe it. I said, but here's the catch. I need you to do something for me. And he said, sure, what is it? I said, I know that you're about to go to New York Comic Con. And while you're there, I want you to open up your 3DS and show everyone what the Nintendo eShop is and how to get there. And he did it. He was my megaphone at the show. And sure enough, again, this goes into measuring your tactics and figuring out the ROI. Connections, boom, went up. That was great. We got all these new users, these new adoptions. It did exactly what we needed it to do, thanks to the help of content creators. So again, I reached out to him because he was professional, he conducted himself well, like he had a strong following. That's exactly what I needed, and you know, it worked out well. So another example of how content creators can work with each other, an example of one of the things I love doing the most at Nintendo. It was a great time at Nintendo. 7 years flew by. It was a great time.
Okay, now that we got their relationship covered, let me explain to you how he was one of the people that helped save Smash for EVO. First off, from what I believe, EVO never asked Nintendo for permission to use their game at EVO 2013. Second, I have a feeling that they used the charity challenge as a shield to put Nintendo and Melee in a trap. I could be wrong about this, but this is a little theory that I'm thinking that they did. They probably thought to themselves and said, hey, it's for charity. Nintendo wouldn't turn down a charity, would they? Little did they know that Nintendo doesn't play any games. If you don't ask for their permission to run their games at your event, they will shut it down. Obviously, Nintendo stopped EVO from streaming Melee at their event. The community was upset that they raised all that money and couldn't have their event streamed. Nintendo and the Melee community was officially at war. The Melee community's leaders didn't know what to do or how they would have gotten out of the situation. Some leaders of the community tweeted at Triforce for his help, since out of everyone in the community, he was more connected to them and has a longer standing relationship with Nintendo. After Triforce received the tweets and DMs from the Smash community, Triforce later connected Nintendo and gave them advice, resulting in them changing their minds and allowing Evolution to host and stream Melee at their event. Come on now, look at the evidence. So you mean to tell me all of that is just fabricated stuff? It's bullcrap? Triforce doesn't have a good relationship with Nintendo? Come on now, let's stop playing these games. It's 2020, man. It's been a long time coming, and we need to stop with all of these bullcrap lies and screwed up history. We got to get the facts straight, people. The reason why I know this is true is because I was there and I saw Triforce do all of this. I saw him email Nintendo regarding a conference about the whole Melee situation. They then spoke, but that's all I will say. No, I will not leak out emails or any confidential information, unlike some people in this community that did that already. All I know is when they were done with Triforce, they told him, "Thank you, Triforce, for your insight and advice. We will address this now and we will make our final decision." After that, Triforce told the community that he spoke to Nintendo and they will make their final decision. Moments later, Nintendo freed Melee. In closing, I know a lot of people don't like Triforce, but me making this video isn't made so you can start liking the man. No, the video's purpose is for me to present to you the facts on what he did for the Smash Brothers community in the past. I feel it's wrong and unfair that a person is not given credit when credit is due. I hope I shine some light on this situation, also opened up a discussion on other historical events in the community that have been lied about. With that being said, until next time, people, take care.